You need to live.
Why do you keep? Where'd he go? Calvin's gone. And welcome to a screwed up episode of Ripping the Rack podcast. This is episode 98 of the longest running bi-weekly. I don't even know what I'm saying. Brian, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the bi-weekly thing. Oh, there's Calvin. Coming back now.
Yes. I love it.
Wow, and I thought I had to pay off a bad debt in Colorado.
My bag of shame.
He's got his bag of shame on. For those of you that are just tuning in, listening, not seeing
bag
this,
of shame. Don't use Angie's pet name for Tim.
Calvin is wearing the bag of shame with the letters on it that spell out something lost to Tim. I
Can
can't
you not see it properly?
No,
I lost to Tim.
Yeah. So Calvin's a good bowler. He's obviously not as good as the old man. Lesson.
What were the averages like for the weekend, though?
I still beat him in averages.
But... in average, he was 121 and I was 120. So, whatever. We are before we get into mixed worlds. Calvin, you can take the bag. Well, no, keep the bag on. No. I think people wanted you to keep the bag on.
Could you not see what it? Oh, you couldn't really see what it said, could you? Oh, sort of.
Okay, I lost to Tim with a sad face. God, that's great. Oh,
I spent $2.99 on this bag, so you better.
No, you spent $2.99. What was in that bag?
No, just the bag.
Oh, bag.
Just the bag. So you better appreciate it.
I very much appreciate that. So we're going to talk a couple of upcoming tournaments first, then we'll get into the recap of the mixed worlds. I'd like to talk about Brian's little vacation he had, fun vacation.
Absolutely.
And then got a couple of questions. And happy 4th of July to Americans.
America.
Well, happy 4th of July to everybody. Happy Independence Day to Americans. And happy late Canada Day to our Canadian friends.
That's right. Happy late Canadian Day.
Canadian Day.
Yep. That's when I guess you're proud for one day to be a Canadian.
They're proud every day.
That's Bobby Bonilla Day.
It is Bobby Bonilla Day.
God, I wish I had a Bobby Bonilla Day.
Right, me too. Just sit there at home and look, there's my payday.
I got another 1.25 million.
Yeah.
And he still has another 14 years left. No, 15. No, 13. Sorry, I can't have. 2035.
Right. And who's the other one?
13 years.
Who's the other one? He's paid up till 2029.
No.
There's another one. Oh, probably Manny, yes.
Manny gets $2 million from the Red Sox sometime in June. And it's good for another 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy money.
They call it end of career loaded contracts.
Yeah.
Or the Bobby Bonilla deal.
Yeah. So upcoming tournaments, we really don't have a lot to discuss as far as upcoming. Calvin, you want to talk about any upcoming Canadian ones?
Yeah, in September they have a few.
It's summertime in Canada. We don't talk bowling in the summertime in Canada.
Well, we will jump on to some of these September tournaments here in another couple of weeks. Once we get a little bit more of a rundown of what's coming up. I know we have the mixed doubles scratch knockout that is coming up July 17th, which I believe is this Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now.
Yeah.
That will be at Exeter. There is one shift only, 10 a.m. So contact Rob. I believe they're still looking for teams. I haven't heard that they're full.
Okay.
4,000. I forgot now.
Yeah, $4,000 guaranteed prize money.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
probably
or based on 24 teams, I think. I can't remember what it said. Yeah.
Solid, probably a solid $2,000 to the winning team would be my guess.
Nice.
Rob usually has some pretty good payouts there. Let's see. We've got in conversation. This has not been decided, folks. The international mixed doubles in Augusta at 1710 Bowling Center. Mark Carrier had posted something on Candlepin Chat last week, just kind of checking on people's thoughts. Which date? It is traditionally the last Saturday and Sunday in August. This year would be August 27th and 28th, which I think most people have kind of penciled in that typically bowl in it.
Yeah.
But I know he was looking at potentially doing August 20th and 21st. By the looks of what I saw on Candlepin Chat, not looking good for that date. It looks like a lot of people are like, yeah, if it's that date, I'm out.
Yeah.
Is that that's not Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, is it?
No, Labor Day.
No, it'd be the weekend after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weekend before.
No, weekend after. Labor Day's the.
Right. It would be the tournament. Would be the weekend before.
The tournament would be the weekend before. Yes. Gotcha. Yeah.
So more, stay tuned. More to come. I would assume that Mark will have, some upcoming posts. And I do want, but by the way, I will say this: anyone that is friends of mine on Facebook, I apologize for the picture that I posted last night of the elusive snow whale, freshwater snow whale. Just kidding. It was.
Hey, I put a pretty good recipe for poached Timmy on that comment.
You did. That was nice yesterday. That was a good day. It's fun.
Yeah, if you like living in a sauna.
Where were you?
Dude, 80's too hot for me.
It was dry.
It was like 80.
It was beautiful.
I'll take 68 to 70 with a little breeze year round.
Oh my God, I'd be freezing all year. I'd have the heat on.
Move to Florida, old man.
Nope, not yet. Let's see. So that's what I got for upcoming. Brian, isn't there a tournament coming up that you're bowling in?
I don't know if I'm bowling yet, but there is the 10 stringer that Matt Nichols is running at Spare Time, part of the Amateur Candlepin Bowling Tour. That is the 17th at Spare Time Recreation Center in Whitensville. It is the 10 stringer. Again, check Candlepin Chat for your signups.
Okay.
I believe shifts are 10 and 2, 10 or 3. No, maybe 9 and 2 might be the shifts. I'm not sure. Again, check Candlepin.
So 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Check their website.
And there will be bowlers there, Tim, and bowling balls and pins.
Okay. Good to know.
The both of you.
Preempting all of your smart ass comments.
Me? I am.
You are. Yeah.
Shocked and chagrined that you'll chagrin me.
Yeah, I'll chagrin you. All right.
So Calvin, you want to talk about losing to me? Because that was kind of fun.
We already did that.
Timothy.
No, we're not done yet, Bri.
Oh no, we all knew that Tim would talk a lot about the mixed worlds because he won.
Nope, that is not why I was going to talk about
Timothy.
I believe Calvin even said the last show that we would spend most of the show talking about the mixed worlds. And I think that's because he thought he was going to win.
Timothy.
What? It was a good tournament. It was fun. I had a great time.
Looked great. The coverage was great. I watched a lot of the strings.
It was. It was good. Yeah. Bob Lee and
Paul Grant.
And Paul Grant did a great job. And then
I can't remember who else.
I can't remember his name. He popped in there. He did most of the 20 stringer. I can't think of what his name is.
Yep.
He popped in, I think, on Sunday. So they did really well.
They did great work. I am very pleased to see what they're doing for the game. I think Paul and Bob are doing some great things trying to grow the game, grassroots level. We don't have the big shows anymore, so they're showing up and streaming and recording and putting it out on YouTube and doing a bunch of great work with it.
Yeah.
My only feedback that I would give to them that I mentioned while I was there was, if you've got two teams that are ready to go, and they're in the middle of something,
I know.
Don't tell them to wait just because you're not ready to go with the taping.
Yeah.
Like, just join when you can join. Let the two teams go. It's not like this is a single team event, meaning it's just a match.
It's just a match. No, it's a whole tournament going on.
It's a whole tournament going on, and I think, and I get it. Paul wants to make sure he's there for the first ball. He wants to make sure that that he's doing what he can. Ultimately, I think the only time you should have had to wait would have been for the final string, the one match roll off. That I could see waiting until they're ready to go. So that'd be my only feedback for them. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah.
I went back and watched some of the matches, especially some of those that I couldn't see because we were bowling on on the other end. I went back. I know, who was it? It was Coca-Cola, which was Holbrook. Josh Daly, Amanda Carroll, Aaron Merrill,
Bobby Witt, and Chris Harris.
Yep, I forgot who they were bowling, and I don't even think the match was on them. But Aaron had thrown a big double against Mark Carrier's team.
Okay.
So I kind of saw that, which I heard it, like it came, it came in a big moment, from what I can remember. So it was kind of cool to go back and watch Aaron throw that double.
Yeah. I do enjoy that aspect.
She was pumped up, and it's kind of cool to see, people get pumped up like that. And from what I remember, it was like strike, 9-pin drop, strike, or something like that. Like, it could have legit been a 4-bagger.
Right.
So it was kind of neat to be able to go back and see something like that. You also had, there was another close match that they had recorded. Might have been Winchell's team. Winchell had a couple of those ones.
I know I watched one that was Hilo Dispensary and the Hurricanes, and Al Nelson goes strike spare to win by 1 on the TV.
Yeah, I caught that one. I did. I caught that one.
And he makes an awesome shot. He makes the 1, 7, 9, 10 with one piece of wood on the plate, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to go back and see that. And yes, Calvin, I did go back to watch our match. Yes, so you know.
I did too, to see how badly I bowled.
I might have been a little excited when I threw that strike. I didn't realize
Okay.
No, I didn't. It's funny. If I'm in a match and I'm bowling well and it's a close match, whatever, like, I tend to get excited. Most people know that I'm an excitable type bowler. I don't know sometimes what I do when I do something like
Timmy T-Rex.
Yeah, like, I no idea. Like, I just do random shit, apparently.
Sometimes when you throw doubles, it gets real quiet.
Screw you. Still funny.
Love the silent double.
So yeah, no, it was fun. There was some really good bowling.
Wow, I don't know if I'd go really, really good bowling, but there was a lot of good shots and fun. Because
there was some good bowling.
Wow, I mean, like,
it's not from, 15 years ago when your top 10 guys were going to average 130. Look, let's face it, those days are over.
We're in the dead pin era.
Yeah. But we only had but I'm just saying we only had one team over 570 average for the whole weekend.
Well, you can't really look at that.
Sure I can.
No, you can't, because when you look at total pinfall, we beat Coca-Cola, but our average pinfall was less than them. Take a look at that. Our pinfall was 12,105. Theirs was 12,063. Yet their average was 579 to our 568.
105. I think that's based off your 5 bowlers.
It's based off the 5 bowlers, not
How many strings did we bowl? 21?
21.
So you guys were 576. So you're only 7 pins difference. So
no, but I'm just saying there's, you had you guys, Price's Wood, all within 100 pins total of each other, roughly 100, 150 pins. And you had a couple more, I don't know. I thought the bowling was better than I had anticipated. With maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. I don't know. I thought it was good.
I just think that not that it wasn't, it was fair, it was, and it was consistent, it was good. I just think the pins could be a little juicier. Not too much, but a little. Where you get the breaks that you should. Like you get your 7 and 8 pin breaks, not your 2 and 2s and your 2 and 1s and your,
I always look at, and Brian, I know Brian does the same thing because he and I have had this conversation many, many times when we start looking at like Halifax fair lanes.
Right.
Brian and I both have called that one of the fairest houses we've ever bowled in.
Absolutely.
If you were throwing a good ball, you were going to get rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you might have missed the head pin occasionally, you were going to get breaks if you were throwing a good ball. And people are like, well, what the hell do you mean throwing a good ball? It means that the majority of the time you've thrown it where you want it to, you're hitting your object pins, you're in the pocket, not full, those types of things.
And you're also not dropping it, so you're taking your rotation off, because let's face it, if you drop the ball and you have no rotation, you can hit the head pin and you can just go flack. And that's it.
Right. I miss those days. Bangor used to be like that. Not real sloppy, but just a little on the faster side.
Hanwell. Hanwell was very fast.
I only bowled at Hanwell's a couple of times.
Okay.
For the Worlds.
Well, when your final 2 teams and there's 6 guys averaged over 135.
Yeah.
Granted, yes, the previous generation was probably a lot better bowlers than us, but still, like 6, 7 guys averaging over 137 in the finals. That means there was probably 5 or 6 other guys who averaged over 137.
Oh no, without a doubt. Back then, your scores were higher.
Yeah.
Guys were also bowling 4 nights a week, 3 nights a week, tournaments every weekend. When it
was different.
Yeah. Chip Carson once told me that in order to stay sharp, just sharp, it's like you're going to bowl 40, 45, 50 strings a week.
I don't know about
he
that.
Said,
I never
he said
any. My arm would fall.
Well, no, he says come in, bowl 2 strings, and then bowl your 3-string league. That's 5. Do that 3 times a week, and then come in and bowl 15 on Saturday.
My arm would fall off if I had done that back then.
Yeah. But you also got to think a lot of back then there wasn't all this other stuff to do.
Yeah.
And it was, kids, okay, go do this, and kids, okay, go do that. Now it's kids, text me 72 times in the next 25 minutes because I want to know that you're okay. And remember, don't go out in this part, and don't go out in this part, and don't go do this, and don't go do that.
Well, it's also strings were $1 back then. They're $3.99, $4.99 a string now, or $25 an hour. it, financially, it's and that's not on
Yeah.
anybody. That's just life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's everything. Everything's gone up since, the 60s.
Except wages.
Well, yes. No, but wages have gone up with it, just not as a fast incline as
Not as
other prices.
exponentially as
Yes, not as
expenses
exponentially, yes.
Yeah. No, I what I enjoyed about this weekend, obviously, look, yes, my team won. That's obviously enjoyable. It's always fun to win. But it was seeing people I haven't seen
Oh, I know. It
in
was
2 years. I mean, the fact that we won't say what Calvin did to me when I got there.
Oh, we will.
can't you?
Oh no.
Oh no!
I
You know how we were
basically-
joking.
so
we know how we were joking that
Have
we
you
were going to
seen this?
Baywatch and
Yeah.
Okay, well, my back was turned, and I didn't know he was there. And he came up behind me and reached around and just muckled right a hold of my junk. Like,
so what I was doing is, have you seen the TikTok, the little, you scroll and the husbands are picking up the wives and carrying them under the groin? That's what I wanted to do to him, so I reached out there and lifted it.
literally, like, just.
You ultimate warriored him, man.
Oh my God. Angie was laughing.
Oh, Angie loved it.
She was,
It was
she
so
was laughing.
She was happy that she didn't have to do it to you later then.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, it was so funny. I was good.
I am upset I missed that.
Yeah.
You are.
No, it was cool. Like I said,
it was. It was.
the,
It really
the
was.
the older I get, the more I bowl to see people,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the less I bowl to bowl.
Did either of you get to bowl Tommy O?
No, he wasn't bowling our match.
Oh, he didn't bowl our match. I had a couple of really good conversations with Tommy. It was cool to talk to him. I haven't seen him in, oh my God, I honestly didn't even know he remembered me. I wouldn't even have thought that he would have remembered me at all, because who the fuck was I back then? I was just a young kid. But it was cool. He like on the end of Saturday, we were bowling next to each other and we were just chatting and talking about bowling, and he was like, he goes, I don't know if you remember this. He goes, but I remember your first Mass Pro Tour event. And I looked at him, I said, the hell are you talking about? He goes,
Timmy's special.
no, it wasn't that. It was, he goes, I remember because I bowled with you. He goes, you were paired with me. Now, me, I absolutely.
Is that the one you in 89, 188, 89?
Oh, no, that was a main Pro Tour.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, that one was, and he remembered because I didn't warm up. Because I didn't know back then you had to pay to warm up. And I had never bowled. I hadn't bowled.
Okay.
I'd bowled in the Worlds, but I had never bowled in a tournament outside of Maine. And in Maine, you
just go and warm up, yeah.
Up like 15 minutes before they turned the lanes on, you went down to your lane, you warmed up. They shut the lanes off, did the announcements.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. I'm like, why are people going over bowling? Like, God, we're just gonna bowl 10 strings. Like, why are you bowling a string or two now? And no one said a word to me. Even the people I rode down with. Like,
wow.
No one said a word. So I just waited, got my lane assignment. People came off, they shut the lanes off. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Got my shoes on, put my balls up, got ready to go. They start doing announcements. I'm like, well, this is kind of odd. They're doing announcements before, but hey, whatever. And then they were like, all right, next bowler up, put your bowler up. Next ball you throw counts. And I went, oh shit, that's what they were doing. They were warming up.
Yeah.
So no, it was just really neat to talk to him. Talk about the Worlds, talk about him and Atkins and Carrington and all those guys. And he was like, yeah, I'm having a really good time this weekend, but I'm not having a good time. And I laughed because I knew exactly what he meant. He was having a good time talking to people and seeing like Cookie and seeing, Bobby Kelly and things like that. But he wasn't bowling the way he wants to bowl because he's still competitive.
Yes. Well, did you see the video of his last two boxes?
No.
Somebody posted that on Candlepin Chat, I think. And if you watch it, you can see Frank is sitting at the scores table, and he had and Ulster throws.
Oh, is that when they put Frank in?
No.
For him? Oh, okay.
No. This is his last two boxes of the Mixed Worlds. This is the very last string in the Mixed Worlds, yeah. So, anyways, he throws a great ball right in the pocket. I said that to him. I said, this ball is going right at the head pin. And he threw it in the pocket, and he left the 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. And there was a wood like in behind it or something like that. Like it was on the 8 pin. I think it had curled up to the 8 pin. And I turned to Frank, and I said, Frank, get your camera out because he's going to make this. He's going to make this. And no sooner, like 2 seconds later, I had just gotten my phone up and he made the shot. Thankfully, somebody was recording it. But you could see Frank and I turn to each other and he leans in. I'm like, Frank, get your camera out. He's going to make this. And then he dropped a strike on it. And I'm like, Tom Olsen. And he comes off the ladies. He goes, that's it. I'm done. And I put everything I could into those last two boxes. And he goes, I fucking made those shots. And that was good enough for me. And I'm like, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like it was cool. It was just to talk to him because we talked about it where I straddled generations. Like I was there when Tommy was bowling with Carrington and Atkins and those guys. And then they got done and then I got into my prime. And now I'm kind of on the downward slide, but now I'm straddling that generational gap with Calvin and Corey and, the younger ones, even with like Daly and McGinty and things like that. So I kind of see it from what he was looking at because he was talking about doing the same thing where he was straddling generations. Like Charlie Milan and Rosario and things like that. I had no idea that he started money matches, Tommy, when he was 13.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I never knew what pressure was. Because at 13, he laughs. He goes, what fucking pressure is there?
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm not supposed to win. He goes, so I just going out to beat everyone.
Right.
And so that's kind of how he explained to me that he became as good as he was because he never felt pressure. Because he never bowled with it. He just started
he just
so
knew
young.
He was good. Yeah.
You could still see it in him a little bit. Like he still threw the ball. Still the same delivery.
Yeah.
I joked with him. I'm like, yeah, same delivery. You just can't bend over like you. He laughs. He kind of pets his belly, and he's like, yeah. But it's still the same. Not quite the amount of speed on it, but he still throws.
And that's what I mean.
Still threw it 67, 60, whatever he was. He still threw pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was really good.
And I know he bowled against Holbrook. In that match, that was cool.
Yeah.
There was. So that's, I guess, from the Mixed Worlds side of things, that was the results were the results. I mean, that's yes, we were bowling to win strengths. As you were, and as 22 teams were trying to do that. We're trying to win strengths.
Yeah.
We almost blew it. I will say that. To go undefeated the first 2 days was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then to go undefeated your next, I think it was
three strings.
Yeah,
because you guys lost it in the third and fourth, and then you won your last two.
Yeah. So we lost. It's a really good match with Coca-Cola with Holbrook.
Coca-Cola, Holbrook, and them. Yeah,
that was
a good match. We were right beside it too. So it was a good match watching.
We were beside you guys quite a bit.
We were. So I got to pick on you guys a lot, or at least one individual who doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
It's not me.
No, not you.
Evan?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That our match with Coca-Cola, that came down to pretty much the last couple of boxes.
Yeah. Because I think Daly put them up 11 or something, I think, or 12 going in the last two boxes.
It was 26 going into the last two, but Jimbo was sitting on a mark.
Okay.
And who was bowling anchor for them? Bobby.
Bobby Witt, yeah.
Yeah, and Bobby was not. And Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo just shanked it.
Yep, he unfortunate because he had been bowled.
He dumpied it.
He did. He dumpied it.
He dumpied it.
Which we've all done.
Sean Morrison did.
Oh.
Dump it down the side.
I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Morrison had a stretch from 2004, 2002, 3, 4, somewhere in that range to 2013, 14, somewhere in that range, where he was the best bowler in the state of Maine. I don't care what it says. I might have, but he would have beat me if we bowled 10 times. He probably would have beat me 6 out of 10.
There's a certain eliminations in Augusta where the first two strings of a 5-string, poor Timmy got annihilated.
I got annihilated. He went like 770 against me. Like,
yeah.
Hello?
The first two strings were both 150, 160, and Timmy's like 110, 122.
Nope. His first string was 160 something. My first string was 160 something.
But you were down like 100 pins after 3 strings.
I was, because he went 480.
Oh, that's right.
And I was 380 to 390. I was down like 100 pins with 2 strings to go, and I'm like, well, if I could throw 200 here, I might gain 20 pins back. The way he was bowling. No, he I know we're kind of off topic here, but the guy was good. But as far as mixed worlds go, the best thing that happened obviously was me beating Calvin. That obviously
not winning
the highlight.
Yeah, good for your team confidence.
Oh yeah. Oh, great for the team confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Because my team never lacked confidence. So,
yeah. Who won the men's high average?
Men's high average was Josh Daly.
Oh, nice. I couldn't even remember. I couldn't remember who won.
Yep. Josh Daly was 126. Chris Bovier 124. Chris Merrill 123. For the women, was Melissa Sinton actually won the high average for the women.
Okay.
Because Mario had 13 strings and you needed 14.
No, it was 14. You needed 15.
Whatever it was. She was 1 string short.
Oh.
She needed 1 more string, but
Mario
was 113. Melissa was 111.
Okay.
Melissa ended up winning high average because she had the strings.
Okay. Why didn't Mario get enough strings?
Because we weren't paying attention to that. We were paying attention to trying to win.
Oh, okay. I got you. Your high average. Wait a second. Hold on a second. Your high average on your women's was not in the lineup trying to win? I'm confused.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you just said we weren't paying attention to...
She struggled on Friday, and she struggled the first part of Saturday.
Oh, okay.
But no, we did not have her in. And then she went like back-to-back 140s and whatever.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Which obviously helped.
Yeah.
Overall, I look at your averages. There were a bunch of people that averaged between 118 and 120. take Josh out of there at 126, and a bunch of people between that 118 to 124 range.
Yeah.
Which is what you want to see, in my eyes. I think it's cool.
Absolutely.
You had like with Coca-Cola, you had Bobby at 842 years old, averaging 121, and you had Holbrook at 950 years old, averaging 119, which I thought was cool. I don't know.
Aaron St. Cyr averaged 122. Holy smokes!
He bowled great all weekend.
That was my dark horse pick, if you remember right, for high average, and he almost did it.
Wow.
Yeah, attaboy, Aaron.
Bowled great all weekend.
Call.
He's got that great left to right ball that just mixes.
Timmy Douglas was 122 for the weekend.
Yeah.
Mark Carrier, who has struggled over the last year or two, he was 121.9. So he was, call it 122, which was good. So it was good to see some people that might have been on some downswings really starting to bowl well again. So, I'm happy with mine. I was happy. I was 120. We won, and that was
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished is right.
I still can. I wasn't sure going into it. I've had some back and hip problems, so I really wasn't sure. And I talked to Brian the week before. Was really not looking forward to bowling because I just didn't feel good. Didn't have anything big, but I bowled extremely consistent, which cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. And I beat Calvin.
I'm going to have to live with this for 6 months and... No, what is it? 4 months? 4 months and 7 days.
Let's face it. I didn't really beat Calvin. I demoralized him. An old man just took him to the woodshed, and not in a inappropriate way. I beat the shit out of him. It was good. It was fun.
Oh, I'm so glad that's over. I'm so glad I don't have to listen to that anymore.
Thank the heavens.
Oh, I'm so glad I did that. He's so excited, did the crotch chop and everything. What a loser. So, Brian, now that we're talking about tournaments, what do you like to see in tournaments? What's your expectations when you go to tournaments? What makes you want to go to a tournament?
Suck it, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Well, Tim not being there.
Tim not being there is a big thing. You know what? It's true. Because this weekend I had so much fun, and there was one person who wasn't there all weekend, and I was so excited.
Sorry, man. That was me.
No, Freshie. I didn't have to see his stupid face. I didn't have to hear his stupid laugh. It was the best weekend. I had the greatest weekend.
No, when I go to tournaments, I like one of my favorite tournament, honestly, is the 560 in Moncton. I love the Super Bowl tournament, and it's because, yes, it's capped, but I like that because you get different teams. We have the Worlds every year. That is where I expect to see all the super teams, the loaded teams, because that's what you need to do to win. But I like seeing people bowl with different people. I like the ability to have the higher average bowlers bowl with different people, and I just like the team combinations you get because I think you get really cool dynamics. And I think it can bring out good bowling out of some of your lesser average bowlers to bowl with those big guys or gals, and it makes them perform better. So I guess I like a cap tournament like that just for the variety. But I like marathons. Honestly, this is going to sound weird, but location. I want a place that's got good food around it or has good food in the bowling alley. I want a good atmosphere, and I don't want to be crammed into a little tiny building. I like a big building where you can move around. Like Fredericton was amazing for the Worlds. I thought that was awesome. Academy is great because you do have a lot of room. Moncton's about the smallest I think you could go to have that Worlds tournament. Because at times in Moncton you get a little cramped. But
Bangor is
Bangor,
tight.
yeah.
Well, Bangor's tight by the lanes, but usually only like 1 to 4. Because the rest of it's kind of open with the arcade and all that stuff. But like the 1 to 4 area or the 1 to like 8 even, where it's the walkway.
Where the bar wall is.
Yeah,
the bar wall is.
I always thought Lita would be for the full Worlds.
Yeah.
Would be a great place for it.
Oh, absolutely. One division on one side, one division on the other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to do what you can to try to. No, I'm not gonna say even out the pinfall, but you've got to make pinfall consistent on both sides. You know what I mean? If you were to do it like Lita, something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, that's where I come into the point where I was saying a couple of years ago when I said you need to have a high average on each side, because how can you garner a high average of the World's tournaments when they're not all bowling on the same lanes?
They used to do high average per side.
I know that's what I mean. That's what I started back in like 2016 or 17 or something like that. Because I said we're giving out or it might have been 2015 even.
They had one in 2009. Really? It was either it was.
I was gonna say
2007. 2007, because guy on my team won the high average for the side, but not overall.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they had it that early. I don't remember that ever being earlier. I remember it always being.
I thought high so, average. At least. Maybe I'm confused. I've been dropped on my head a lot, Calvin.
Oh, okay. Especially this past weekend.
No, I didn't get dropped on my head this past weekend. This year, last year I got thrown. This year I was okay.
So. The reason we're asking this question is Lexi posted a question at Candlepin Chat that kind of got me thinking and was really kind of cool. And it's, what do you want to see in a tournament and what makes you want to bowl in a tournament? So I like Brian's idea. And again, I kind of echo a lot of what Brian said. Location is important.
Yeah.
As much as I don't eat typically when I bowl, food is important.
Yeah, especially in 10, 11-hour days.
Yeah.
You can't just drink and not put any substance in your body.
And honestly, bathroom situations. We don't need the one stall, I love Exeter, but that bathroom would be a nightmare in a tournament.
Well, there's two bathrooms. There's 2 bathrooms in Exeter.
I know there's one in the bar too, but I'm just thinking like that main one where if you're on that end of the house and you don't have time to,
Even Academy's a little tight because there's 3 little urinals there and then one stall.
Miserable, honestly. Even the Canadian bathroom situation in Bangor.
Yeah, there's basically 2 toilets.
There's 1 stall and 2 urinals.
Yeah, but the 2 urinals are basically on top of each other, so it's like 1 urinal.
Yeah, you're rubbing shoulders.
Yeah.
and not in a good way.
Yeah, not in the proper way.
Yeah. Calvin, what do you want to see in a tournament?
Not that I guess I don't really have. I just enjoy it. There's really no want in a tournament. Of course, being I can't beat Tim, but I think of myself as a well bowler. So of course I want to see the bigger prize money because I want more money for my good bowling, but that can't always be obtained. So
but I know what you're saying. You want return on investment.
Right. And that's exactly that. But I'm saying that because I know that I have a fair chance of winning every tournament I get into. So because I'm good at the game, I guess I don't really care as long as I'm going in there, and because there's some tournaments I have no shot in, I still go but that's because I enjoy the environment and I enjoy bowling, and I know that at least I have some chance to make some money back, where I'm not completely wasting my time. But there are some tournaments where I am completely wasting my time, and some of those are the 560s where I can't. I've never ever won a 560. The closest I've ever come was the finals.
And this is my opinion. I always thought for you, you looked at it as like a challenge. Like you tried to build a team around you quality enough to win, even though because you had such a high average, you were at a disadvantage.
Oh, I absolutely do. Yeah. But in saying that, I still have to probably average 5 or 6 pins better than my average to give my team a chance. Mm-hmm. And then the next year, that affects my team. So the 560s, I like I said, I've been to the finals once, but I don't think I'll ever win because I can't build a team around 126, 127 average bowler.
It's too bad. It's and here's the thing from an outsider's perspective that's been to the 560 a couple of times. It is a great tournament. It is. Oh, it is. It's a best. Fantastic tournament.
Top 5 of the year, for sure.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I would probably put that behind the Worlds and the Mixed Worlds, and it would be the third most. I'm going to call it prestigious, I guess, if you were looking at it, something like that.
A major tournament of a year.
Major. It's the difficulty is there's not a lot of bowlers that are 120 plus anymore. However, those of us that are struggling that because it's such a low threshold.
Yeah.
560 is not a really high threshold to build a team.
No, because if you're 120, then you're stuck at, you need 410 average people.
Right.
And there's not many of those.
Right.
And if there's 4, there's 116 maybe, or a 115 or a 113, right? And then you have to go find, a 102 or a 104. It's a lot difficult.
You have to bowl, if you're an anchor bowler, you're always bowling anchor. You got to be in every match. Because if you're out, then who the hell are you going to put in?
Yeah, you have a tough time.
To me, I always thought it should be, if you're going to cap it at 560, it should be 560 for who's bowling. Yes. Not your best 5 people are average 560.
Right.
I always thought it should be any combination of people on the lane should not exceed 560.
Right. To me, I like that, but it does become a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
I get it.
I've never won it. Up until the last year we had it, which was 2020. I think we actually had it in 2020 before everything shut down.
Yes, because everything shut down in March.
Yeah, so up until then, I had made the playoffs 5 consecutive years, and that had been to the finals twice. I had lost every single time I got into the playoffs to Jill Wood's team.
Yeah, because, you can't beat a whole bunch of girls who may average 114 all the time, but they're going to average 120 when they really want to.
Yeah, they're good. That was really good.
Yeah, they're good. They're good bowlers.
They are.
But it makes
good tournament bowlers.
But it makes it difficult for someone like me or Calvin or anybody that's one.
Let's talk about the other thing that makes that tournament extremely difficult for other people to go to. When was the last time we had a 560 and didn't have a snowstorm during it?
Yeah.
The mass guys aren't going to and it'd be a great tournament to have some of them come up, but that is a heck of a haul, especially with the weather in February to Canada.
And it always snows 560 weekend.
Always. Guarantee it.
Always a storm.
And it's always measurable.
Yeah. It's always a good 10 centimeters, and there's always the announcement Saturday night. Just so you know, it's going to snow Sunday, so plan to come in about 15, 20 minutes early so you can get here on time. Yeah. Always that.
And nobody does. And we always start 10 or 15 minutes
We're always late, yeah.
I enjoyed the 560. I enjoyed my experience there. The last time I went up to watch, basically. I went up with Brian to watch.
And then you get the bowl.
Stuff, and I ended up bowling.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, but
2 days.
I wasn't going to say no. 2 days. Yeah.
How about the first year you went up, Tim, when your captain said, "Oh, we'll go up with just 5. It's fine."
My captain was the biggest dumbass.
He really was.
I mean,
because it was 2 string matches the year before.
He's like, yeah, it's 2 string matches. It's no big deal. Like, oh, okay, what, 20 strings over 3 days? Okay, I can handle that.
Yeah.
I come out of the Caps meeting, guys, it's 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, it's 3 string matches. And oh, by the way, there's 30-something strings in 3 days. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Tim's finger literally exploded Saturday night bowling Matt Cormier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. Good time.
Yeah.
The words coming out of your mouth weren't fun.
It was almost as fun as the time that the international mixed doubles when Mike said, "Oh, we're just going to bowl everyone twice, and that's 32 strings in 2 days." And I looked at him and said, "I haven't picked up a ball in 2 months. What are you doing?" Like,
not a chance.
But no. So Calvin, what would you? So actually, no, I just asked you that. So what makes you want to bowl in a tournament? Is it the money?
Mostly the money.
Okay.
But if it really doesn't matter. I just always have the competitive itch. And again, I think that's just because I'm good at it.
Value for your tournaments in Canada. Like that 560 is $45-$50 a person.
Depending on how many people, yeah.
And if you win it, it's good money. Like, unfortunately, down here,
wouldn't say it's good money, but it's a couple $100.
Out here, if you bowl, let's say, a best box, because that's what most of the monthly stuff is down here. Sometimes you pay $40 a person, and even if you win it, you get back like $100, $200, and you're like, okay, well, by the time you pay for food and your gas, and you're like, I didn't really make anything.
Yeah, but it's only 4 hours of time.
Yeah, but
we're doing 3 days of bowling, and we're only getting like $200 a piece for winning it.
I like, so for me, I will tell you, it's some of it's money. I look at, what does it pay out to win? Because I still think I can win.
That's basically me, right? Like it's,
whether or not I can's another story, but in my head, I still think I can. So I look at something like Outrun the Bear, down, it's coming up in September. And, you look at that and you're like, okay, that's, $75 or whatever to enter. Okay. Maybe it's $100 when you're all said and done, if you end up buying in somewhere in that range. But to win, it's like $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, to me, that I'm chasing that. That's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mixed worlds, this past weekend or 2 weekends ago when it was, you got 7 or 8 people and people are like, oh God, you got to split that, 7 ways. I'm like, okay.
That's still $1,600.
Still $1,600. Like,
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. An extra $1,600 in my pocket. Thanks.
I'm good with that. After I paid for, hotel and things like that, I still made over $1,000. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me is some of that is I do look at the money. But I look at the other things too. Like Brian said, I look at location. I look at where things are. I've bowled enough now to know where I like to bowl, where I bowl well sometimes, versus where I might have been a bunch of times and have never bowled well. Okay, I may not want to bowl in the tournament there. But I like the fun tournaments too, like 9-pin best box. God, those are fun. Had a good time. Things like that. International mixed doubles, any type of doubles or mixed doubles is always fun to me. I enjoy that, especially as I get older. Team events are fun too, depending on the team. Brian and I have always had fun going down and bowling in like the Bob Hobbs or the Derby or something like that. It's a full day tournament. You're not going to make a lot of money if you win, but man, is it a good time. But
that's another part of return on investment.
Yeah,
Getting fun out of it.
It's the fun. So Brian, before we stop recording here, Tell us about your trip. Tell us about your adventure.
Yeah, so I went out to Denver, Colorado for my second year to be part of Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling's milestone event, which is their big pay-per-view for the year. It's part of the Dudes and Belts chatcast that myself and Mark Ritchie, Jeff Walsh, Josh Rio, and John Starner do. And it was really fun. We went out there. I had a chance to meet some bigger name wrestlers. I met D'Lo Brown, former WWE guy. I met Josh Matthews from Impact Wrestling. Sledge, who's ROH, and Marty the Moth, who was actually an ex-Lucha Underground champion. For all the wrestling fans out there that know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was great. I got to do commentary Friday night for the pre-show. Myself and Jeff Walsh did the Battle Royal, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So,
had you ever done commentary before?
Just
I'm not talking about in your head watching it on whatever.
And no.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun, and I kind of got the itch.
So are they talking to you?
Oh, yeah. So when you have the headset on,
mm-hmm.
you can hear everything. You hear all the backstage stuff. You hear Gorilla, which is where they're sitting, watching everything. You can hear, all right, we got this much time left. Okay, tell them this. Okay. Like,
really?
And you're trying to talk through all that. And
yeah. Oh, my God.
How was that? Were you able to block
it? Was tough at first. And then once you get going in a groove, you do block it out. And it's almost like you hear something like, what was that? Like, so I can understand how you're doing it for years. That becomes background noise. But it kind of threw me a little bit at the beginning. But it was a lot of fun.
I'd be thrown.
Yeah. It was a great...
That'd be cool, though. I'm not going to lie. Brian knows I'm not a huge wrestling fan now. Like, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about the current...
See, I'm lost.
like, the current wrestling. But I grew up with wrestling. Like, I grew up with, back in the 70s watching, Chief Jay Strongbow and Ivan Putski and, Killer Kowalski and all these guys moving on up into, Saturday Night Main Event with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and all that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was a wrestling fan. Like, I enjoyed it. To hear Brian live this kind of, I'm not going to call it a fantasy, but call it a fantasy. Like, it's cool.
8-year-old Brian is ecstatic with what's going on in his life right now.
Oh, I guarantee it.
So, another cool thing was I got to watch Mark Pins, our friend. He got to ref a bunch of matches out there. He's actually training in Mass to become a referee. So they let him do some stuff. And he got to learn, and their head referee out there who trains them all is Marty Elias. For those of you that don't know, Marty Elias ref possibly the greatest WrestleMania match of all time at 25, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. He was the ref on the inside for that match. He's also personal friends with Chris Jericho. He was on Talk is Jericho talking about all of the Rocky Mountain Pro stuff he's doing now. So if you listen to podcasts, you like Chris Jericho, check out that one. But yeah, it was just a great time. I got to meet all kinds of people and, again, do something that I love and that I can talk, so I'm good at. And I got to do a promo where I had to pay off a bet. You've probably seen the Facebook stuff about that. So.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Was so I enjoyed that. That was cool. So what was your favorite moment?
It was just hanging out just before everything, and I'm standing there and I'm talking to a couple guys, and Walsh is right here on my left, and I just feel this on my shoulder, and I turn around and I'm like, "Hey, I'm D'Lo Brown. How you doing? Nice to meet you." And I'm like,
"Oh, yeah, I know."
Hi.
I'm like, okay, hi.
Well, the cool thing about D'Lo is, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but we were at dinner. I went over and I was like, "Hey, from one UMaine Black Bear to another, nice to meet you." Because he went to UMaine for 2 years and played football and got his business degree. So we got to talk a little bit about.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit about Orno and how it was when he was there, and I had a good 5-minute conversation with him while we were eating dinner. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
So how many? So I heard Marky got he got a Marky Pins chant going.
Yeah, we had a Marky Pins chant going.
No way.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
If you guys want to watch the pre-show that Jeff and I did commentary on, and Marky is reffing a match in it, it is free on Twitch. you have a Twitch account, go to Rocky Mountain Pro on Twitch and look up the Milestone 12 pre-show. The thumbnail is me and Jeff, and Lucas Radwell, who's their announcer in the middle. And it's free, so you guys can watch Marky Pin's ref and hear us do some commentary.
I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a good time. They had a few surprises come back.
You should remember tomorrow and share the link in the notes for everybody to look and go watch it. That'd be awesome.
I should.
And every one of the dudes also, except John right now. John hasn't started, but myself, Rio, Marky, and Jeff were all interviewed by Rocky Mountain Pro Radio. Mr. Fourth Row does theirs, so we all have our own individual Rocky Mountain Pro Radio episodes on Spotify. So
nice. That's awesome.
Nice.
It's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. That's our resident Coastal Crusader is going big time on us.
Not big time yet.
He's going to Hollywood.
Hopefully we don't lose an OG of the show. To like we lost another one. I don't know if Maki will ever come back. Man,
F's in the chat for Marky.
Yeah. All right, folks. Look, send us your questions. Send us your comments. You know how to reach us. And if you're still angry that we don't talk about your results, well, guess what? Guess who hasn't sent results?
And I have to do this just for Paul Grant because I saw when he was interviewing Calvin. You can hear us on Spotify, Breaker, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcast mediums.
You jumped the gun, dude.
Well, sorry.
But that is not how this format goes.
Well, too bad.
You totally.
The first thing I saw when I watched was Calvin getting interviewed, and they asked where they could see the podcast, and he said everywhere. And Paul goes, "Oh, well, you don't have Brian's voice, so it doesn't."
No, didn't make the same effect if I said it.
Yeah. So results, folks. Again, because I did have a couple of people at the Mixed Worlds be like, "Dude, how come you didn't mention this? How come you didn't do that?" Well, you know what, folks? If I don't see it, if Calvin doesn't see it or Brian doesn't see it, and you don't send it to us, how the hell are we supposed to talk about it?
Posting it on Candlepin Chat isn't enough. If you do want to do that, tag us in it.
Sure, yes. Tag Ripping the Rack podcast. Yeah,
tag us.
Tag us in it. Say, hey, attention, us.
I'm on Candlepin Chat maybe once a day, maybe. I just don't have the time right now to peruse through trying to find stuff. So I don't think the three of us lack for things to talk about, considering we were going to have a quick one today, and here we are an hour and 2 minutes in, and we're still going. So yes, please, folks, get us your results. Get us cool things to talk about. I'm more than willing to talk about anyone.
Me too.
I am. Brian is. He's tired of talking about me. He's tired of talking about Calvin.
Well, it is funny, Tim. Did you tell Calvin about the congratulations message I sent you when you won? I said, "Man, way to go, Tim. See what happens when you don't bowl with me and things?"
Oh. Well, yeah. I wasn't going to bring that up.
True, though.
Yeah, no, it isn't. So anyway, folks, again, Ripping the Rack Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Ripping the Rack Podcast. You can go to Brian's OnlyFans account.
It's suspended right now.
Big Booty
Brian. It's suspended. It's down for maintenance.
Oh, it's down for maintenance?
We had a server crash.
Don't go to Big Booty Brian.
He needs to bleach. Go to that. He needs to bleach it.
I need to bleach my eyes if I have to see that.
Down for bleaching.
The freshwater great Arctic sea whale was one thing, but we broke Calvin.
Well,
Calvin
folks,
broke Calvin.
It's just like that. We have reached the end of the show. Thank you kindly, folks. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for a more serious Ripping the Rack podcast. Again, that is coming up soon. and we'll go from there.
And set us topics for that too.
Big
Yes.
booty bleaching.